This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the season finales of The Acolyte, The Boys Season 4, and Part 1 of Cobra Kai's final season, plus reactions to final trailers for Deadpool and Wolverine, Alien Romulus, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, July 22nd, 2024.
Hey, what's up? It's Taylor Gray, the voice of Ezra Bridger on Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? How's it going? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is a puppet who is currently sweating his balls off. And not only that, every time he goes to poop, tentacles shoot out of his slack hole. It's very inconvenient. We call them bat wings rugs. What's up, rug boy?
Yes, I have a membrane that is stuck to my leg from my nutsack.
I'm sorry, you're
Anybody has balls and they're droopy balls at that because it's hot out. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, even felt balls are going to. It's like Velcro, right?
Yeah, your balls escape your body to keep cool because they don't want to be pressed up against any flesh, so they just kind of drop down as far down as they can.
We could almost roll this.
I feel like I have a tail.
We could roll this into a host read for Manscaped if they were still sponsors, but they're not.
Remember that? We had sponsorship.
Yeah, and then we kept talking about ball sweat. And,
yeah. The people are like, why you talk about ball sweat? And I was like, they give us free trimmers. I don't know. What do you want from me? I still use the product. It's great. It's fantastic.
On your balls or on your face?
Everywhere. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
One after the other.
Yeah. I'll go ATM. I don't care. Come on. It's all.
Jesus.
Wow,
okay.
I wish I would have thought of that joke.
Now that we've got that out of the way, fellas, look, enough of the bullshit. We have so much stuff to discuss. Amazing not amazing. Television in all varieties, genre television finales, whole parts of seasons to discuss. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, there are some trailers to talk about. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
So, two final trailers we're going to discuss real quick. We're going to start with the big one. Deadpool and Wolverine put out a final trailer. This movie comes out when this show posts the next day. We're also... When this show posts, San Diego Comic-Con will be on, and Anthony will be there. I'm so jealous. We need a full report next week, Anthony.
That's what I'll do. I'll give a full report.
You better come with some fucking stories from SDCC. They better be good. But anyway, so I
said you come with some stories and some STDs?
And some STDs. Well, maybe not the STDs. Although,
wow.
He's already got them all.
Yeah. Comic-Con gets wild, people. What can I tell you? Seen those people?
What kind of hell are you wishing upon me?
It's San Diego. Look, this Deadpool and Wolverine, they put out one last trailer, and I didn't need another trailer. And I'm trying, there's so many spots and merchandise, promotion videos. The marketing's been fun. I was trying to stay away from it. And then I saw people going, oh, they didn't need to show all that in the trailer. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to watch this. Do I want to watch it? And then I broke down and I watched it. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to give you the spoiler alert for anyone out there that still maybe doesn't want, but it's all over the internet anyway.
Spoiler alert.
There is a reveal of a character in there, but I didn't think it was giving away too much. Anthony.
Yes.
What did you think of this trailer? You know, we've seen the jokey trailers, and now finally we get an emotional trailer.
Yeah, actually, I really liked this trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know, the timing of it with the week of. I guess they're just building up even more hype, and mission accomplished, because coming into this movie, I was enthused, but I wasn't as enthused as I was in the past for Marvel movies. And
right.
If this was coming out in 2019, 2018, 2020,
right.
even, I would have been, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And, Marvel's significantly cooled off since then. But this trailer and, Deadpool and bringing out Hugh Jackman, I think this trailer put it over the top for me, and I'm officially very excited now for this movie. I'm almost kind of sad that I don't know. I don't think I'm going to see it till Monday. Next week.
Because you will be. You can't go to a theater out in San Diego. Just go there.
Well, I could, but I'm just like, should I be going to see a movie in San Diego
while you're there?
I feel like there's other things I could be doing, but then I'm also debating, am I going to get spoiled? So
that's the thing. People can be talking about it.
I know. We're going to have to figure something out. But anyways, going back to the trailer, I think what I liked most about the trailer was it was more serious, and it laid out the plot for you without giving away everything. The basic premise here is, it sounds like Deadpool's world is dying. He wants to save his family, and he's in his world, which is the Fox universe. Wolverine was a hero.
Yeah.
And he finds an alternate Wolverine to help him, but this Wolverine's basically a loser. And he's got to kind of get this Wolverine to realize he's also a hero. And I think what put it over the edge for me was the spoiler that you were talking about. Yeah. X-23, played by Daphne Keane, is in the trailer, and I love the line she has where he basically says he's a nobody.
I'm not the guy. He says,
I'm not that guy. I'm the wrong guy.
The wrong guy.
And she says, you're always the wrong guy until you're the right guy.
Until you weren't.
Until you weren't. Right. Something like that.
Oh, emotional.
And that's Wolverine in a nutshell. He's wrong place, wrong time. I compare Wolverine to fucking dude from Die Hard.
Oh, John McClane.
John McClane. Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong guy, but ends up being the right guy. And that's Wolverine. And if they nail that, it's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be really good.
It's going to be good.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Come on to the coast, they said. It'll be a fun time, they said.
No, that's my long way of saying I'm now fully in, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do.
They needed to put out this emotional trailer to let people know that this movie will have a soul, will have heart. Even Ryan Reynolds, under the mask, the lines, he's like, these 9 people are my whole world, and only you could save them. Like, you could hear the emotion even in his voice without seeing his face. Regs, let me ask you this. You've been on the track of like, oh, it's a comedy. They could do whatever they want. Doesn't really matter. Does it get you a little more excited now that you see that the movie will have a heart and soul, hopefully?
It's a nicely assembled trailer. I'll say that. Okay. It does manage to make you feel like this movie has some seriousness to it. And if it is a serious, if there is a serious tone that holds it all together, even though it's comedy, there might be a serious story, there might be serious elements. I feel like it'll have more weight, and then it'll make it rise above being something that is basically comedy armor, where if you're doing a comedy, anything goes, and you don't have to actually rise to any real standards or occasion. But if this kind of does both, that'll be great. I feel like that'll be what Marvel needs. It's having the comedy being something that a lot of people can get into, being kind of light, but at the same time having real implications in the Marvel universe. That could be a very strong, powerful thing for Marvel right now.
I mean, it's right on track with the first 2 Deadpool movies. They were raunchy, but they also had a lot of heart and soul and emotion. And no, I thought this trailer was really well put together. I love how they're showing the clips from all the Wolverine, the older movies. You even see from Wolverine Origins with Ryan Reynolds there, the silhouette. That's fucking fantastic.
Another thing I want to point out is that this is tying directly to Logan, which is Marvel's one of the most serious Marvel studios, not Marvel Studios, but Marvel movies. Yeah. Like Marvel characters in it. Like Logan is like a real hard-hitting, gut-wrenching story. So the fact that some of that DNA isn't swirling around in there, I think it's good.
That's very good. It needs it. No, I love that he name checks Scott, and Storm, and Beast.
Yeah. He's bringing up how they always wanted him to wear the costume, and he said that he didn't want them to think that he liked being an X-Men.
Oh yeah.
So he never put it on.
You see Sabretooth? Is that That's Taylor Mane Sabretooth, right?
Yep.
He was in what movie was he in?
He was in the first X-Men.
The original X-Men. Yeah.
He was the original Sabretooth before they got
that's right, Liv Schreiber. Yeah. You see Eliath in the Void a lot. just flying around trying to eat shit. And then the Daphne Keene moment where I imagine she tells him what happens in Logan, what happened to the other Logan.
Yeah, so the exact line, I just watched it right now. He goes, "You got the wrong guy." And she goes, "You were always the wrong guy until you weren't." I was like, damn, that's a good fucking line.
That's fucking good. And then now, then they throw in the little tag of the comedy of him going pew 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 and making Spider-Man hands, and I was like, that's fucking great. And Logan's like, stop it. And he goes, pew. Perfect. Just the tone is perfect. I believe also we are still only seeing like the first 35, 40 minutes of this movie. I wholeheartedly believe there is so much shit in here. They haven't.
How good could this be, though? Like, where hopes are so high.
Yeah, look, they haven't even. This is just scratching the surface of what happens, I think, because they keep showing kind of the same moments in the void. I think this is all the beginning. I think there's so much crazy shit in this movie.
Yeah, you got to think if they were showing X-23 that there's way more stuff that they're holding back.
Well, that was my question. Did you think that was too much when we got the X-23 reveal? Did they show too much?
I think they're holding back stuff.
Yes.
I think they showed that because, one of the things even I was looking at was, you got this movie, but it's just a comedy. It's just a straight up comedy. And now you gotta at least put something out there that makes me go, this is more, the comedy is to bring me in, but the heart is what'll keep you like remembering the movie.
Yeah, and I didn't think, I kind of knew, I was like, I felt okay. I was like, Daphne Keene's probably in this. You're going to have X-23. It didn't really spoil a big thing for me. It made sense. So, again, if they're showing this, they are not showing a whole bunch of shit that I can't wait to see.
Toad, there's a shot of Toad.
Yeah, you see Toad with his tongue coming out and all those Fox X-Men, Azazel and stuff sitting there in some of these shots. Oh, and that shot of Lady Deadpool walking with like the Deadpool core behind her. It's a bunch of Deadpool variants. The body looks like it very well could be Blake Lively. It could also be his head on a woman's body. Ryan Reynolds. So I don't think that's Taylor Swift.
I have one more comment.
Yeah.
I got to Google, right? I'm going to Google right now how old she is.
Morena Baccarin.
No. What's that late Daphne?
Oh, Daphne Keene. She was Jackie on the Acolyte. We're going to talk about
her. What's how old is she?
Daphne Keene is 19.
Okay, good. I can feel good about saying this. She's looking pretty good.
I see where you were getting there.
Yeah. She's looking pretty good in this trailer. I know we saw her in Star Wars, but she was all, colored peach. I don't know what color she was.
She had white makeup and horns.
Yeah, that didn't look like her, but this one I was like,
X-23 has grown up.
She's grown up.
She's grown up a little bit. Yeah, she's all grown up. But no, this is getting me properly hyped.
Geek boner.
I think they did a good job. I can't wait till San Diego Comic-Con next week and to see what they will reveal.
Well, also, what was concerning for me in this trailer helped alleviate that was you didn't really need to bring Wolverine back, right? Logan had the best exit for a hero.
Yeah.
Might want to be probably one of the best exits for a superhero. So that character was essentially, that arc was done.
Yeah.
But now they're going with the angle of it's more than likely an alternate universe Wolverine that was a complete loser.
Yes.
And failed a ton.
Yes.
And this Wolverine needs to learn how to embody the hero that the Wolverine that we all know was.
Right, from the actual Fox universe.
Right.
No, I think those, in that shot where he's in the field and you see those concrete pyramids, I believe those are the graves of all his X-Men. He couldn't save them. And this is a great conflict. He feels like, he feels like shit. He feels like a failure, but he's hearing about the other Wolverines and one last chance to redeem himself.
You remember when Wolverine had an Australian accent in the cartoons?
Did he?
Did he really?
No.
Yeah.
In the 90s, in the 97 cartoon?
One of his first appearances in a Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
They gave him an Australian accent.
It's weird.
Maybe that's who he is. He's that Wolverine from Spider-Man and
he's from the Spider-Man.
Friend.
Yeah. He's supposed to be Canadian.
And he's played by an Australian guy. So yeah, he got some DNA there. That's a deep cut, my friend.
It is a deep cut.
Look it up. Wolverine with Australian accent.
Will we get the cowl? They put out like the soundtrack and the track list of songs, and there's some interesting tracks on there. Like there is a song from The Greatest Showman which I can't wait for that part. I love that fucking movie. I love all those songs, and Hugh Jackman's in it.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna give you the clip right now. I'm gonna give you the clip.
Okay, here's Wolverine with an Australian accent, apparently.
Visit
It's wonderful to see you again, Professor.
Firestar over here.
Coming, Cyclops.
This is our other new member, Wolverine.
How you doing? Want a piece of fruit?
I have heard so much about you.
Visit
What are you doing? He sounds like Crocodile Dundee or something.
I'm going to have to go with, I'm glad they didn't give Wolverine an Australian. Shout out to Australia.
Yeah.
I love the people.
They have a great accent.
Great people.
How are you doing?
Great accent. Not
There's
what
a
I
weird
expected
story
for-
behind that whole thing, but why they gave him the Australian accent, but because they're like, nobody knows what a Canadian accent is, so they're like, you
Oh
need
my
something more
God.
distinct.
Oh my God! No, you just gotta go. Oh, what's that about? Where's your
Yeah.
mom? No, that is from
Crocky.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends from the '80s. That was. I feel like that's Wolverine's first animated.
That's his
appearance.
first animated
And he had
appearance.
an
He was
Australian
Australian.
accent. Crazy.
Yeah.
That is full
Crazy.
circle.
All right.
So
Well,
if they tie it to that, that's a deep cut.
that was
That's like
was
something only Rug Boy would know.
It was fated for Hugh Jackman to play this character. They already willed it into being. Anyways, next week we're gonna have a geeky good time talking about this movie. Can't wait. Let's move on to the other trailer. Final trailer for Alien Romulus. This one coming out August 16th. Anthony, talk to us about this trailer. And also, did they show too much in this trailer?
Yes.
I have the same question.
They did give away, what the plot is, but
Well, that's okay. But they show somebody dying, so now we know this character is going to die.
we saw that in the last trailer too.
We did, but now you know her name and stuff. So I mean, I don't think there's other people to be cannon fodder.
I thought this trailer was awesome. I think I liked both trailers that came out this week.
Yeah,
They both were plot heavy, but Alien Romulus, similar to Deadpool in my thoughts, Alien was kind of a dead franchise.
Yeah.
I did not think Covenant was good. Prometheus was kind of disappointing. The movies, the only movies I really consider are good are Alien and Aliens.
yeah,
Similar to Predator.
Yeah.
Prey kind of brought me out of the woodwork and went,
Yeah.
man, that's fucking good.
yeah.
And this trailer, all the trailers, but this one, just the cherry on top. I think this movie is also going to be fucking awesome. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the horror. Fede Alvarez is a good horror director,
Yeah.
and they're really leaning into the horror aspect of this. And I like the aesthetic. I like
Absolutely.
that it looks that they're using real practical effects. The aliens look awesome. The face huggers, it looks gross with them fucking facially throwing their shit down your throat. I mean, it's just, there's quotes from the actors that basically are saying, if you're a little kid and you sneak into this, you might be scarred
You
for
will
life.
be traumatized. That's what an alien movie should do, though. That's all right.
This is, and then none of this, origin, who made them,
No, just action and
bullshit.
fear.
Just fucking drop people into a situation
yeah,
that they did not expect,
yeah.
unprepared, and fucking let's see what happens. And I love the line at the end where the girls, like whatever comes through or whatever, we'll face it together. Like there seems like there's a good action bit there. So yeah, it's great.
So
I
plot wise, we learned these are a bunch of robbers, thieves that just like Kill, the movie from last week, these people picked the wrong ship to rob. And there's the bits in the water where they're crawling around the water is frightening. And every time I see those face hugger shits, I'm like, what would I do? What would you do if that thing was chasing you and tried to shove a thing down your mouth? It is frightening.
It's like being in prison. Anyway,
Is that from experience?
yeah.
What do you think, Ruggs? Practical effects, horror vibe, you digging it?
I haven't seen anything other than good stuff when it comes to Alien Romulus. It looks like they're treating it with respect, and they're basically doing a redo of the first movie. They're taking everything that worked with the first one, and they're just kind of doing it again. And I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that's safe, but another part of me thinks, hey, if you can make it as good or even better than the first, which I don't think is possible, but I mean, if you can make it just as good and as entertaining as the first, maybe not as good, but as entertaining.
You know what's interesting? What you said, Anthony, before we talked about on this past Discord, which you were not in attendance.
I was moving.
You were moving, and I'm happy you moved. But I think Jose Ibarra brought it up. What you brought up is how Prey kind of did the same thing here. They went back to basics, gave us a solid Predator movie. Alien Romulus doing the same thing. Go back to the original kind of vibe, horror movie, straight up chasing and fear and kills, and it's going to work. So I like this trend. Maybe they're redoing.
There's nothing wrong with safe. You just have to like make it really good.
It looks good. It's safe, but it looks good.
Yeah, I think that if you know what Alien's about, you know it's about horror and feeling isolated, and then kind of man versus beast and the unknown and jump scares and people getting taken down, body count, like everybody that is going to die, and you have that intensity, all that stuff. It makes for a good time anyway, even if you're not being wholly original.
Yeah,
all that stuff is a good time. So I think that if they can do that and have the suspense and have maybe use like they're using new new ways of filmmaking. They're using new technologies. They're using the old technologies, like the practical stuff.
Yeah, it looks like he's
going bringing it back,
old school.
So that's fresh now because nobody's doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even though it's safe, it still might be a breath of fresh air from what we've been getting, which is like the deconstruction of everything and ruining everything that we love.
All right, well, let me ask you guys this. If the movie ends with them shoving the alien out of an airlock in space, will you deduct points? Will that take away? Because get a
little creative with some stuff like that.
That's how every alien movie ends, is just shove them out the airlock. You'll be fine.
Yeah. No, that does happen a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
One comment on Ruggs' thing, I think, all those are all true. I think another thing that makes Alien when it gets really good, especially the first one. The second one is an action flick.
Yeah, sci-fi
with some horror.
Yeah.
I think what makes the Alien unique, besides obviously the design, is there's this feeling that it's all kind of an allegory for being violated and raped.
Ah, yeah.
The aliens hug your face and impregnate you against your will, and then you get birthed out an alien from your body, and then the alien design when it's grown up, it's a giant penis head.
Yes, it's H.R. Geiger.
But so there's this whole thing where it's not only body count, but this gruesome way, like violent violation really of who you are to die.
That's
this
a great
way.
point.
So I think that aesthetic is important, and I think these trailers are nailing that, right? You're seeing, you have a shot of a fucking tube coming out of that woman's mouth.
Yeah.
You're seeing, there's one shot of a dude dying, and it looks like the fucking tail of the alien goes right through his mouth.
Yeah.
The birthing scene, those are all things that are intrinsic to Alien that they're covering here. So it does seem, maybe it's safe in that sense, but I think they've been trying for the last 20 years to go take swings, and they've been missing every time. So I think going back to the roots a little bit and not dumbing it down, but going back to what the source is. I think Ruggs, you always are a big fan of going back to the source material and going to status quo. I think that's what they're doing here. I think they're going to
there's nothing wrong with that.
Quo.
As long as they're bringing something new to the table and they're really trying their best to honor it, then I think it's okay.
Well, I think you can credit, though, also Ridley Scott kind of stepping out of the way and finding someone like Fede Alvarez who has the right aesthetic for this that just matches up.
I think he stepped out of the way because the movie wasn't making money.
Yes, they were.
I also think that Ridley Scott doesn't want to make the same movie twice.
No, he doesn't.
I think he's not interested in. He made Alien. He doesn't want to make the same movie.
Did he do Covenant though, which was kind of the same?
He did Covenant.
Yes, he made the same movie. Well, it's almost. I mean, Covenant has a lot of similar.
Well, because I think he got forced. I think it's why
he got forced. Yeah,
that was like a half-hearted attempt.
I think he wanted to do the whole Prometheus thing,
right?
And people just didn't react well to it, and they were like, "Where's the alien?"
Yeah.
So then I think he was I think Ruggs is right. I think he got forced to make Covenant a combination of Prometheus and aliens, and it just turned out to be really a weird mix.
Well, I'm still happy that he made those movies because the alien thing could use something extra, and this gives it something extra.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, you got to find the right creatives behind it to take it.
I don't think it like besmirches Alien.
Right.
I think I don't think it ruins it at all. I think it actually adds some weird shit that makes it funky. But the movies themselves were not great. But maybe the world building is interesting.
There is, and speaking of new shit, I think I saw a couple breakdowns of this trailer and the past one.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a scene where the gravity gets flipped.
Oh, yeah.
And they're floating in the air with alien acid blood in the air as well. And they have to like navigate by going through that.
That's great. That's like the thing in Godzilla X Kong when they turn the gravity off.
Like that, yeah. If you catch some of the trailers, you can
I see
the
them
floating
through the air, but then you got to imagine you got to avoid the blood. That's great. That's great.
And I think if I have to, because they're saying that there's some pretty gruesome deaths. I think probably one of them is someone floating through the air,
just getting burned by
just going right through the fucking.
I mean, the chest bursting scene they show is dope because you've never seen it that way, where it's illuminated from behind and you can kind of see it like very creative way to show
that actress Isabella Merced.
Yes.
Who's in a lot of stuff.
Yes.
She's quoted as saying she goes out in a pretty fucking bad way.
Shit. She's Hawkgirl in the Superman movie also.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw someone on predicting on, I don't know if this is true, that they were saying there might be a scene where the face hugger attaches to someone, they try to remove it off. And they remove it off, they remove someone's fucking face.
With the whole face. Yeah. That's horrifying.
I mean, there's some,
Yowzers.
Yeah, like it.
There's been some pretty gruesome. Prometheus had a pretty, the C-section.
Oh, yeah.
When that scene was pretty, that was knuckle. The all-time, Alien, the original Alien where Kane fucking is eating dinner and has one go through his chest. That's an all-time.
It's great.
That's like one of your like top 10 most gruesome, shocking deaths in cinema history.
I think the audience wasn't expecting that, and the cast wasn't expecting that.
There's report, there's I don't know how credible that shit is, but
people
fainting and fucking throwing up in the theater back then.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, this This looks great. I can't wait to check out this Alien movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Listener, let us know what your thoughts are about these trailers. You can join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. It is a closed, exclusive group for you to hang out and geek out in. Lots of fun over there. Okay, let's get to TV review number 1. We are finally out of our national nightmare. I'm not talking about the Biden thing. I'm talking about the Acolyte has ended season 1.
Whoa.
The national nightmare is over. We can go on with our lives once we wrap up fucking this season of the Acolyte. Here are your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Time.
It's a crazy world out there, and talking about this bullshit is like the only thing that's keeping me sane. So let's have some fun, y'all, because there's crazy shit outside. Anthony.
Yes.
I know you're a big fan of the show, as you've been posting instant reactions.
Greatest show ever.
Patreon.
Might be my most favorite show in the world.
It's a fantastic run of audio on the Patreon, Anthony. Hate watching this show. So let's just get to
it's the highlight of my Tuesdays.
Give me how does this show wrap up? And
like a quick summary?
Yeah.
Basically, the sisters find out, or the good sister, Osha, right?
Yeah.
She finds out from May and from Saul, Squid Game guy, what really happened. She gets angry. She kills him. She then runs off with Ezra Miller, Agent Ezra Miller.
Agent Ezra Miller. Yeah.
They run off together, but before that, they mind wipe the other sister, so she'll never be able to tell on them for some reason. And then Green Bitch shows up and covers this whole thing up and blames it all on Soul.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist, right?
That's basically how. Well, now let me ask you this. Does any of it make any sense? What did you think?
So I think this is a horrible show. I just don't understand the point of everything. You know, unless they're doing a season 2, which God forbid if this gets a season 2.
Yeah.
But, and you know, this is a question I'd ask you and Ruggs is, what's the point of this? Like, why would you go out of your way to make a show about a big misunderstanding that the Jedi covered up and told Yoda about? Like, I don't, what are they building? Like, how does this make anything better in the universe?
It's a good question. I would ask Ruggs, what do you think the show is about? Because I am still, is it about
I think that
balance, power,
I think
corruption?
the show tried to do something that was kind of interesting, but it didn't do it. And it's the writing is so sophomoric. It's on the level of being like if I asked a 5-year-old like to describe something to me, and then whenever he was into getting backed into a corner where like the story wasn't going to go anywhere, he would just go the other way and just be because he wanted to. That's what the writing on the show is like. So I do think that if you look at it, the idea that you have these twins that are the same person and they both have the dark and the light sides of each other, and they both switch at the end of their journeys,
Yes.
to one being light, one being dark. That's kind of interesting, but they didn't do it very well.
No.
And all of the writing in the show is completely dishonest. All right.
Yeah.
Like, and I was trying to say this last week, and I think I said it on the stream that we did, the Discord.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that happens is honest. Like, none of the things that the characters do, they would actually do. Like, you have deliberate things like stories being withheld.
Yes.
For no apparent reason.
Yes.
You have characters that are there at the scene when they see the thing unfold, and they act like something different happened that they needed explained to them.
Yes.
Like May sees her mother turn into a thing and and she herself is dematerializing.
Yes.
Has she ever been dematerialized before? So she's like completely cool with it. Well, if that's the case, show it beforehand so we know that she knows what it is.
She may have known what was happening, right? We don't know.
But we don't know. But their writing is so horrible that you're like, okay, am I stupid to think that this girl has never dematerialized before? And she might have been fucking freaking out at this. And then she saw that like Soul was freaking out over this. In fact, Soul thought that because he called her a different name, that she was the person that he was trying to so like she doesn't understand this as like a 10-year-old kid.
Wait, that's why he killed
I'm
her.
there. I see it unfolding, but I'm blaming this guy.
Yeah.
Like he just killed her in cold blood.
Right.
And that the whole show is based on that dishonest observation.
Yeah.
And that's a dishonest observation. You said, well, the kid, but the kid was like 10 years old. All right. Too old to be trained as a Jedi. Right. I'll say if you want to go the youngest, maybe 8 years old. But I remember, what's her name was like 8 years old that played Leia, and she looked like she was like an infant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that these people were like 10 years old, 9 years old. And when you're 9 years old, you're not complete. You can understand things, about what's going down.
You don't think May she saw Saul kill her mother. That's all she knew.
But she saw herself being ripped apart and atomized too. She didn't notice that.
Well,
and she saw her mom act crazy irrationally.
Yeah, the other one.
No, the one that turned herself into a fucking ghost and then gets killed and reveals that, I was going to let her go anyways. Like and then just to have that be the crux of why Osha turns.
So they both flip so quickly. Every character on the show just has different motivations, like every episode. It seems.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And and then Osha turns, and she just turns and she turns on a guy that if he could have just said what happened, like if he would have just told her also, like that's another thing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And they stop him from doing that.
Yeah.
So they write it they write it so Osha doesn't want to hear what Saul has to say, so she just force chokes him.
I don't know who was right.
And she would have wanted to hear it because she has no idea. But then they try and make it like, oh, they've been lying to her the whole time. But in essence, he didn't really lie to her, like to the degree that they're trying to make it seem like it. Like if you watch what unfolds that's why that is episode that happened that explains what happened during that fateful night.
Yeah,
was so bad because it's clearly May and the horny lady who are like pouring gasoline on the fire, so to speak, and pun intended.
Yeah,
because like. You know, like even though the Jedi
invaded, they invaded their
and the
house.
fact that the Jedi would even do that, that's suspect because the whole thing is that the Jedi Order didn't want them there. Like the actual institution that they all are trying to malign, the senator that comes in and say they have unchecked power.
That guy was great. That was a great conversation, though.
The Order, it's in and of itself, didn't want them there, so they were still calling the right shots. It's only that there's some fucked up, idiotic, not only just one idiot Jedi, that the whole crew of them are idiots. It's beyond, I mean, now we just saw the Secret Service like look really bad here, like doing, like, I mean, the amount of ineptness that was going on.
That level of incompetence.
Maybe it's incompetence, but like, it's incompetence, but we don't know if it's evil, right? There's a difference between incompetence and evil.
Well, he kept saying, I did the right thing. And I'm like, did you though? Really? Was it I mean, he feared for the girls' lives, but he didn't really know.
The thing is like it's just, he kind of did the right thing, but they don't write it out well enough where you can say that.
There is a story. I think I said this last time. There was a story to be told about these kids' wants and desires, and they have, one of them doesn't want to be part of this family and wants to go out and see the world and wants to be a Jedi and use her powers for good, and the other one wants to be with their parents,
right?
And
but they don't do enough to.
But they don't. They just are playing the blame game on the Jedi because they facilitated that. They were groomers, and it's just weird because they're trying to make it look like this. What are they saying? They're saying something masquerading as a religion, but it's a power.
So that's why I love that conversation Vanessa had with that senator. He's like, the Jedi are posing as power, posing as a religion. They're a delusional cult. And he's like, there's only a matter of time until one of you snaps, and then who stops you, kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen.
The only thing that I have to go combat that sentiment, and that's why I don't think the Jedi looking at Jedi as a religion makes sense, is because,
but it kind of is a religion.
No, Imran, you're believing in, and a religion is believing something that you have no proof of. Oh. The Jedi religion, yes, you believe in God, but God doesn't really talk to you.
They believe in the Force, but the Force
actually responds to them.
Things. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
All right, they know how there is a science to how it works, right? There is. If you let your emotions do it, it consumes you, right? You have to find balance, and the only way that they figured out over years and years is if you just are completely selfless, you can use the Force and do good with it. So it's not a religion where you believe in something and it isn't true, but this is about something that has a cause and effect.
Yeah. It's
not a religion.
Oh, okay.
It is a way.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Oh, it's a way. Okay.
Yeah, it's a way. It's like,
do you know the way?
It's like doing health.
It's
like
of life.
It's like doing CrossFit. Yeah. It has a cause and effect.
It's a little culty though. All those things are kind of culty.
Yeah.
I mean,
the show, like, yeah, I mean, Ruggs speaks on it better than me because I don't know everything about the Jedi. I just don't understand. Like, the show, the way we're talking about the show is way more interesting than the way the show is.
Absolutely.
The show is trying to be this, like, kind of gray show where there's no protagonist or antagonist.
Yeah.
But then the way it plays out is you just don't even know what you're rooting for. You don't even know what you want out of the show because the show flips on a dime all the time, and it has just such terrible writing. Like, I'm just going to point out some like really weird shit that happened in this last episode.
I have a bunch of things. Yes. What do you have?
Like for one spot, Basil sabotages Soul.
Okay, I wanted to talk about that. This whole thing makes no sense. I'll tell you why. But the setup for that makes no sense, right? He's got May. She just heard the story. She escapes. He wants to like save her and help her. She escapes. She leads him through an asteroid belt chase. It looks cool. Here's even before that, what I didn't understand. Saul was about to shoot her down. He was going to shoot her down. He was just going to blow up the ship. I was like, what the fuck? I thought you cared about these kids and you wanted to try to save them. That's why Basil pulls the wires to disable the firing, because he was about to kill her for some reason.
Okay, so yeah. So
why?
Even taking a step back, May wanted to kill him.
Yes.
Now she wants to jump in a ship and lead him to OSHA to reveal a secret. But before she wanted to kill him, she wanted to turn herself into the Jedi.
None of it makes any sense.
So none of that makes any sense.
No.
Basil does that. You have the whole, where Soul gets force choked, and if he could have just told her, she would have.
Yeah.
Like then.
But even if you take Basil, every character isn't consistent.
Yeah.
So Basil exposes May and gets her in trouble, captured, and then he saves her.
Right.
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
None of the characters make sense.
And then you have OSHA, who, okay, now May is going to hang with Ezra, Manny Jacinto's character, and OSHA is there. Why didn't the three of them run off together?
Yes, why did she
why
go,
do
why do
we need to do this mind wipe thing?
And I will train
It's
you.
really stupid.
Why can't
this is set up the second season? It's very transparent. They're trying to set up the second season.
Because Kamira offers to train OSHA, and she keeps refusing until she force chokes Saul, bleeds the crystal, lightsaber turns from blue to red, which was kind of cool. I'd never seen that before. But now she's just bad, and why can't all three of them go? I don't know.
Bad writing.
And then the last couple things, these are not even just inconsistent. It's just you have the lead actress is just a charisma vacuum. She sucks. And you have her playing two characters.
Yeah.
You have her playing twins.
Yeah.
And then the green woman.
Yeah.
I could go without ever seeing that actress play on screen ever again. Like
nobody likes
no one.
Vanessa.
Not only that, just the actress has no charisma. And again, I just don't understand what's the point of making the Jedi like this.
The character's pretty shitty too. She blames it on Saul.
Character.
She's hiding everything.
It's trying to be dark. It's trying to be dark, but it's not.
Yeah.
And it's just wildly inconsistent. And so, for example, Vanessa comes onto the planet and sees that Kamir is there.
Oh yeah, she senses him finally.
Senses him without his helmet.
She's like, "Ooh, you're alive."
Look, that's how sensitive the Force is in that particular moment.
That's the only time.
Need it to be.
That's the only time.
But you're telling me that Yoda is existing in this universe,
and he don't know?
Yoda, who can sense shit all over the place, doesn't know this fucking shit's going on.
So let's quickly talk about these two quick cameos they threw in that they thought would help save this fucking thing, and it's completely ridiculous throwaways. The first one, Anthony, you may not even know that.
Didn't know what that
you
was.
didn't know who that was. I didn't really know who that was either, because this is the first live action appearance of Darth Plagueis. He has been mentioned in the prequels when the Emperor talks to Anakin, and there's like a famous clip where he's like, "Did I ever tell you the story of Darth Plagueis?" And this is the guy who, with Palpatine.
Well, this is what Palpatine was dangling this in front of Anakin, because Anakin was waking up with nightmares that someone was going to harm him and his family. So Palpatine tells him the story of Darth Plagueis, who figured out how to become immortal.
Yeah, and he may have made Anakin. Is that what the story is?
I don't think that's what he was telling him, but that people are surmising that since he was interested in like immortality and making life, using the Force to create life or extend life.
So, and also, is Plagueis Kamir's master? Is that what that implies? Because I was unclear. I was like, is he watching them? Is he going to kill them? Is he his master? I don't know, because it was like 20-second shot. And then
I would guess that Kamir and Plagueis are in cahoots together.
So I think Plagueis is his master then. And then at the very end, she's like trying to get in touch with someone, Vanessa, and she goes, I have to talk to you. And we see the back of Yoda's head. Motherfucker, Yoda's been around this whole time, and he waited. That's not helping. You put him in the
that
last
doesn't make any sense.
Last 2 seconds, he should have been involved from the beginning. He
would have sensed a disturbance in the
He
Force.
didn't sense any of the shit was going on.
He wouldn't have sensed a fucking that his Jedis were on a planet
dying. Yes,
and that there was a virgins in the Force. He wouldn't have sensed something was up.
It feels like
wouldn't he? I mean, I don't know much about Yoda, but wouldn't he look at the green bitch and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yes. Yeah. Why didn't you tell me this immediately?
And like, you're a horrible person, and you don't deserve this. And like, you need to leave.
Yeah, that he's definitely going to scold her once he finds out what the fuck is happening, or if he knew. But
so that's my point in this. Is like,
there's no way that when like Anakin was cool, like up until he started doing shit, right? As soon like he was still like tolerated by the Jedi until he started doing shit like killing younglings and doing things like that. Then like there was no going back for him.
Mm-hmm.
So if Venestra did fought her own student and gave her the whip marks, that would be something that would you couldn't really cover up like with the Force,
and also pinned an entire thing on this guy, Squid Game guy.
Yeah. No, I believe
that's my point.
But
though,
she's been bad for a while, this Venestra, because
we were supposed to find out more backstory because she clearly gave Chimera the scar, but
here's
there was no time for it.
What's the point? So now you have Yoda. Now that's revealed that Yoda knows all about this. What does this do to make Yoda's character like? Do people like Yoda more now because of this?
I mean, he's gonna have to cover it up too. Like, I don't know.
But what I'm getting at is like, this doesn't add anything good to Yoda. This makes him now look like an asshole too. So now you're like, we created this prequel show where the Jedi are assholes, and even Yoda knew about the Jedi being assholes.
Or Yoda didn't do anything.
Yeah, Yoda didn't do it.
Yeah,
so like,
he did, right.
Now you watch all the other movies, you're like,
wait a
wow,
minute.
Yoda's an asshole.
Well, but there's also if you think of the Star Wars, that's also the whole thing. Like R2 knew everything the whole time and just didn't bother to tell Luke or anyone in the original trilogy because he saw everything happen or something. So they pull this shit all the time in Star Wars. Here's another thing I love that's ridiculous. May survives a plane crash. They're always surviving plane crashes. These people are in. Remember, she crashes on Brendok and she's fine.
Oh, here's two more ridiculous things while we're on that.
Yeah.
May, I believe, is it May? The one who's the bad one?
Which one now? Osha.
No.
Osha was the real bad one.
No, the original bad one.
That's May.
May just has Pip in her hands, and Pip just knows.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Pip just knows all of a sudden to unlock her handcuffs. Like,
yes. No.
2 scenes prior, the last episode, Pip was against her.
Yeah.
And now it's just like we just have this magical machine now that can do whatever I want it to do in whatever moment I want.
First of all, she reset Pip, so Pip is evil, but Pip goes from being an unlock thing to being a stun gun instantly.
Right.
It is something that does whatever they need, and then it shows her the door, how to get out the escape. Like it does. It's the thing that does whatever it needs.
You do in a second.
So ridiculous.
It's literally like it's like the MacGyver of fucking. And then the other thing too is Osha. When she's with Ezra Miller, Ezra Miller, she's like, "Yeah, I'll just take you to. I sense my sister. Yeah. I'll take you to her. Why? Why? Like what is her end game in that? Does she know that she's going to find out the truth about what really happened?
Yeah, and it is lucky Osha managed to show up right at the moment that he's confessing all these things.
Well, it's just like, why would you take this guy that you know corrupted your sister and be like, yeah, I sense her, I'm going to go back?
The thing is, from their point of view, who do you got? Either you trust him or these fucking Jedi that are coming after you.
But the point is, Osha at that moment doesn't even understand she thinks that her and the Jedi are cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no reason for him to trust Khmer and take her back.
Yeah.
To that point. There's no
reason.
Because it's just crazy.
Look,
she only trusts him because she put on the helmet.
Right.
And now the helmet can tell, just like Pip.
Yeah.
The helmet can make you do things.
The helmet showed her Saul's death, and she thought it was May, and she was able to control his mind for a second. He could fight it off. I'll tell you what I liked, again, throughout this whole series. the fight scenes, that battle between Saul and Khmer.
It was good.
Some wire work, the split saber that one's short, one's long.
What about the OSHA versus May fight? That was athletic.
That was
athleticism to its finest.
That was all right.
No, it was horrible.
That was okay. It wasn't. The lightsaber battle was better. Look, she's fighting herself. Then she knows her moves. Yeah, that one not so much.
How do they know each other's moves? They've been apart for like 20 years.
They know the same moves.
This is something the Critical Drinker said, but I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
You have Soul, who the actor literally learned the English language
right
before this, and he's struggling with the English language throughout the entire show.
Yeah.
Yet he acts better than this lead character.
Oh, so I wanted
two different roles.
When she's force choking Saul, she has no expression on her face.
All she can do is look like she's mad or crying.
Really? She looks like she's force choking him. She looks fucking bored. I was like, come on. And for Saul to even let her force choke him, I was like, bro, come on. I knew they all had to die because nobody knows. Now, nobody knows what's going on. Vanestra is covering it up. Nobody else knows this guy's around. I guess it's kind of ridiculous. I did like so there's a lot of parallels they are making with Khmer and OSHA with Palpatine and Anakin, right? Or Luke and the Emperor.
Yeah, but come on, Imran. This is this writer being like,
yes,
I'm going to also do that because you know why? It comes full circle.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's poetry, and it's like, yeah, but you took the worst route ever to come full circle.
That is true. I mean, he says the lines: "Use your hate, strike him down. Your trading will be complete." That's straight out of Return of the Jedi.
To the scene of where it all started.
Her training? She had no training.
Yeah.
That's the first time she ever hung out with him.
We're going to go back to where the crime happened.
The journey is complete,
We're going to bookend the show from where it started and where it ended.
I mean, I thought it was kind of
a great way to do it.
Poetic. Saul back on Brendok 16 years later looking at the mess he made.
Let's take a step back and look at what's actually happening here.
Yeah.
So a long time ago, these Jedi came in and, were misguided and fucked up, but then things spun out of control.
Yeah.
Their intent was just to take OSHA, who wanted to leave on her own free will.
Right.
The mother also was going to let her go.
Let her go.
And, at the end of the day, it was not about the Jedi taking them from her, because it would have happened. If all this other stuff didn't happen, she would have been with the Jedi. All right. But things did get out of hand, and it wasn't like a murderous spree that went on for the Jedi. It was both of them upping the ante, them taking over the Chewbacca, and then she had to disengage him, and then which killed a bunch of the witches. And then May set the thing on fire. So they're all in it together. They all share the blame.
Yeah, they all fucked up.
It's the whole story just completely hand waves away any of that stuff, and just it's all about Saul and his decision.
Yep.
And it just doesn't work.
The execution is terrible.
Just doesn't work. It's not honest.
No.
And it's way more layered than that. And I feel like if May, okay, I can understand OSHA finding out this information and maybe taking it too far because this is a gut punched her.
And yeah.
But May, she actually saw the reality of what happened, and maybe she learned to recontextualize it now, knowing what she knows about spending time with Saul and how much she cared for May and how much he cared for OSHA,
right?
And when he was trying to thought she was OSHA or whatever,
no nuance.
They could have done something great with that, but they just wiped their ass with the diarrhea of their stupid writers, and that's what it is. And
that's a good way to put
it. It had potential to be great, but it didn't. Now, there's a lot of Star Wars people who are talking about canon and whether Darth Plagueis could even be there and whether you could bleed a saber like that.
Well, the saber was cracked. She was touching the crystal.
Okay, but I don't even care about any of that.
Okay,
but to be that bad and possibly have problems with the lore on top of that is inexcusable.
The story you just said is, I mean, it's a classic story. It's the story, of two sides, not necessarily right, not necessarily wrong, and like an escalation of things that happen that create conflict that it just spirals out of control.
Yeah.
You know what shows are like that? House of the Dragon is that.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes is that.
You know what else is it's better?
There's plenty of things that are like that where it's just two sides misunderstanding one another, getting into some sort of conflict that could have been resolved, but things escalate so quickly that it's impossible.
You know what's a better show than this? Like that better Star Wars show that we're going to talk about? Fucking Cobra Kai is like that. It's fucking Star Wars.
Well, Cobra Kai. I mean,
it is. It's the same thing.
I don't know. Cobra Kai is not. It's not doing its best work in this latest.
Wait. We'll talk
Cobra Kai is entertaining, but I wouldn't say.
But it's Star Wars. It's better.
Yeah.
It's a better Star Wars show than Acolyte.
Cobra Kai is pretty juvenile. But here's a difference. We'll get to Cobra Kai in a second, but I'll just say this about Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai at least knows its tone.
Yes.
This show has one scene where a fucking robot squirts goo in a girl's face, and then pivots from that to someone getting force choked in a giant cover-up happening.
Murder and neck snapping. Yeah.
Right.
This show did not know what it wanted to be at any point in time. It's like a different thing every episode. People are flipping so quickly.
Different thing every episode, different thing every scene.
Every scene, it's just it leaves your head spinning.
Yeah.
So where do we end up is Saul's dead. Everybody's dead. Mindwipe May is captured by the council, and Vanestra's like, I need your help to help me find a pupil, even though she's Mindwipe. Osha and Camille are just holding hands, staring off into the sunset for some reason, because now she's broken bad. She's evil. She's all in. And Vanestra goes to see Yoda. It has not been greenlit for a second season, but clearly they have left things. But I don't know
if they
want a second season.
If they make a second season, I wouldn't be surprised, because I feel like Kathleen Kennedy, this is her baby, so she's going to fight for it to get a second season.
Well, if they make a second season, everyone's going to be like, are Yoda and Plagueis going to be in this? Like, now you have to put them in there in some capacity. But
the minute they start fucking with Yoda, this thing's going to get scorched earth.
Let's see what happens.
It's going to be like,
Okay, Anthony, final thoughts. Give me a rating, and I would like you to rank it. There's 6 Star Wars shows. We've seen all these shows.
I haven't seen Ahsoka.
Okay, so we can take it out of there. But the shows are Mandalorian, Andor, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Acolytes.
Yeah, I think it's the worst one. But I don't think some of the other Star Wars shows I don't think are very good either. But this one is, to me, the worst one. Final thought. It's what else can you say? I mean, it's one of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
I didn't think it could get much worse than watching fat Boba Fett or
Fat Boba.
Men chase around a little girl in circles, or fucking Emilia Clarke with a Drax arm.
Yeah.
But this is there's just so many things. It's the acting, the tone, the writing, the point, like what's the whole point of this? Were we even building towards? Like there was no hype for anything, going into that last episode. I didn't even know what we were going for. There's nothing worse than a writer that like thinks they're doing something awesome and thinks that they're doing this really layered, textured story with backstabbing and escalation, and if we could just get this viewpoint across, if they could just, the other side would just understand, but these things keep coming in the way. But like they're trying to go for that, and they just epically fail because this writer and this crew just like was not up to the task to do something like that. So yeah, it's one of the worst shows you'll ever see. I don't know, 2 out of 10.
Oh snap! All right, yeah, that's about right. Rugs.
I understand what the concept of the show is, and maybe what the writers wanted to do was trying to put the Jedi into more of an interesting gray area where they weren't these white knights that were, so untouchable. And, when you have a religious allegory, you tend to want to break down because, a lot of these organized religions, people don't like them because they want to compare it to the Catholic religion and all these weird things like that. And it just doesn't work because it's not about that. It has nothing to do with us. It has to do with a galaxy far, far away. And if they wanted to do this thing with the Jedi, they could have done it in a much better way. It just was so clumsily handled and it's just not honest. Like what happens and how people perceive things and what they do, it's very, very bad. And if this is the best that they could come up with to try and, keep interest in Star Wars, it's ridiculously bad. And so I'm going to give it a 3, but because of the fight scenes, I'll give it a 4. So it's definitely on the bad side. All right. It doesn't even make it to 5.
Bottom of the six shows for you.
I enjoyed
worse than Boba Fett.
I enjoyed Boba Fett a little bit more than this.
Is it not a bigger thing that they've ruined a good character than just giving a shit? What's worse?
I don't know. I feel like Boba Fett is really bad too, if you put it in that context.
Yeah.
But I feel like they did ruin the character Boba Fett, which is even more egregious.
Is that more egregious than this show?
Let me just say though, real quick about Boba Fett. Boba Fett was an internet thing, or like not an internet thing, but Boba Fett wasn't really a thing. People just made it into a thing.
Yeah, sure.
The fandom was like, we love this character that gets thrown down a well or whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah.
And like, there were no plans for that. They just like were like, let's make it a thing. So they kind of like, it was a nothing thing, and then they put all this backstory behind it, like the fans did, and then they made it a thing. Whereas this was like someone that had an idea for like a concept of like what they wanted to do with the Jedi.
Right.
I disagree slightly with that because they did try and build it into the prequels with Jango Fett, and then they continued with basically all of the characters that we like from all of the clones. They're all Boba Fett. They're all versions of Boba Fett. So he's really a part of his DNA. Like the Boba Fett DNA is in a lot of Star Wars canon now. So
like he was a thing the minute he showed up on screen because we didn't know anything about him. The action figure was cool, and that's all we had. And people just started making up stuff like 40 years ago.
Right, but they've been putting him into canon, into all these things,
with the clothes.
So he's been a part. So they did him dirty, and that is something that's just as egregious. So I think that these are either dead even.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, everything you guys said is correct. On top of that, just the episode pacing, the structure of these episodes, the lengths, it was all very clunky, messy. I mean, after the great battle in that episode 5, the next episode's literally a filler episode where nothing fucking happens. So you either could have told this story in less episodes, or you expand on things that you're not telling us. They don't know. The show doesn't know what it wants. What's frustrating is that it gave us some of the best fucking lightsaber battles I've seen in a while. Anytime anybody talks, the show falls apart. I'm going to give it a 4. And for the same reason, Ruggs, because of the fucking lightsaber.
I want to put a button on this one. I don't remember who said it, but it's I was watching something on YouTube that was comparing this with House of Dragon.
Oh,
House of Dragon costs less, and you get the same amount of episodes, but they're an hour long each.
Yes.
So we're basically getting ripped off with this show. We're getting half-hour episodes that don't even look as good or have as good production value.
The sets were the most embarrassing thing. They spent $180 million on this thing.
So I think House of the Dragon costs 130 or 160, something like that.
You could make 17 Godzilla minus
an hour
ones.
long. Yeah.
Wait, if I had to rank it, I'm going to say, of course, Andor, number 1, easily, followed by Mandalorian. Then maybe I'd put Ahsoka, and then Obi-Wan are kind of the same. And yeah, Boba Fett and Acolyte are kind of tied for the bottom. really, and/or
like
Mandalorian.
if you look at it in
Only
terms of content, Boba Fett wasn't as bad, like writing wise.
But you had those great Mandalorian episodes in the Boba Fett
right?
show,
And you
which
had
were
some great
amazing.
Mandalorian episodes in there.
Yes,
but it did tarnish the character, which that we all love. So
you're like, I mean, it had those speeder kids and then the 2 mile an hour chase scene. Like,
Yeah,
there
man.
was so much really ridiculous shit.
Which one? Boba Fett?
And Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett.
The
I mean, you also
Vespa
had the
gang.
giant battle in a city where 12 people are running around and
Yeah,
fighting.
it's the same block over and over again. Those things are going 2 miles an hour. Like, what the fuck? You had the
Boba
huts.
Fett was bad, but no, Boba Fett was bad. They both were pretty bad. I hated this one. I did not like Boba
they
Fett
gave
either,
me
but I actually hated this one.
Give me a Wookiee Jedi, though, that did some cool shit, but it doesn't
Oh my
save
God,
the show.
Imran,
But
you're
I like the
easily
Wookiee
pleased.
Jedi. The stuff.
he did
I mean,
it
I
all for
don't
the Wookiee.
see. I don't care about the Plagueis and the Yoda thing. The fucking lightsaber battles were dope. Just whoever did that shit, just work on another show. Anyways, yes, I think
That's like saying like, oh my God, I'm dumpster diving and I fucking found a
Filet mignon.
half-eaten piece of pizza with some shit on the side.
I did that in New York City when we were.
Yeah.
You remember? I
No.
ate the piece of pizza off the table.
Fucking guy.
That's my taste. That's what I did. All right. Anyways, that's it. We don't have to talk about the Acolyte anymore. I unfortunately do have to talk about it one more time. I'm going to be doing a stream Wednesday night with MCU's Bleeding Edge about the final episode. So I'm going to have to relive this a little bit longer. But everyone else is free. We're going to take a break here, play some promos, come back, talk about The Boys, Cobra Kai, right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you love this show, this is a great time to give back all of the hilarity, entertainment, and nonsense by joining our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. And you can choose to support monthly or annually, and you get stuff like access to a bonus podcast feed where the shows come out a little bit early. There's bonus content, hours of bonus content, where this week we will be putting up our instant reactions to Deadpool and Wolverine, of course. And you can join us for our monthly Discord hangouts. We just had one.
It's a fun time, people.
Last Thursday, always a fun time. I love seeing everybody there. We've been doing these for a couple of years now. It's
I know,
crazy.
but I'm pissed that we have so many patrons and like I still haven't. There's a few that haven't turned up yet.
More
Where are
people,
you guys?
Listen, put it in your schedule calendar right now. The next one will be Thursday, August 22nd. I'm giving you plenty of a month. Look, I'll give you a month warning. August 22nd will be the next one. And other fun stuff over on the Patreon. Definitely check it out. Click the link. There's a link in the episode description. Join it today. Okay, let's get to the next season finale review, The Boys. Season 4 has wrapped up. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
Okay, this one. You like that one?
I don't know why.
It's just funny. Season 4 of The Boys. We have talked about how this season has been kind of very literal in the political news things they've been doing. We've talked about how the show started as like a satire about corporate superhero culture, like the MCU and corporations and stuff. And maybe it's kind of becoming the thing it was parodying 4 seasons in. Regarding the way they're handling political stuff, they have eerily predicted a lot of things. Now, it's weird because they finished writing this in like middle of 2023, over a year ago. But it ended up predicting in real time as the show was coming out, stuff that was happening in the real world, to the effect that the finale of season 4 opens with a warning, a disclaimer denouncing political violence. This episode was titled Assassination Run. It's one of the plot lines is the assassination of the president on the show. It was retitled just to be season 4 finale. It is fucking eerie the way this shit has lined up. Because part of me was like, are they have to change the episode? You can't do that. It's done. It's so late. But definitely they needed to address the situation.
I don't know. I don't really think that's that genius. I really think that
a warning up there.
This is very commonplace in a lot of superhero stuff.
Sure.
Like in the X-Men, they try to kill the president. Everybody.
That's true. That's true.
White House down. You know, there was always, I mean, it's not the first time it's happened.
So it's coincidence, is what you're saying.
I would say it's a coincidence. But yeah, it is kind of fun that it's a coincidence. But I don't even think they needed to put the warning on there.
You know what? They had to.
Nobody died.
No.
So
they had to address. I guess they felt like they had to put something.
I mean, a guy died. Sorry, but like not
somebody did die. Yes.
Yes.
Anthony, when you saw that warning, did that throw you off? What was your thoughts?
No, I knew that the warning was coming because I'd seen stuff online.
Yeah.
It is kind of what's the word? Eerie that this episode releases.
The timing is weird.
Timing was just interesting that happened, but especially since this guy that did the show has made it very clear what his political leanings are.
Right. And even more so this season, he's doubled down. It's very blatant, obvious, doesn't give a fuck if it turns you off, whatever. Fine. I will say, though, the season continues. Overall themes of the season were great, like self-reflection and dealing with your past and forgiving and moving on. Like that was baked in throughout the season. I don't know where to start. Anthony, let's start with so much shit happens in this final episode of The Boys that it's almost like too much stuff they were shoving in. But I did rather enjoy the chaos and the crazy shit that happened. I guess let's just start with you, Anthony. Did you feel that they stuck a landing here, or it had a good finale following this whole season?
I'm going to tackle The Boys just kind of from overall perspective.
Okay.
I think overall, I did enjoy the show. I still like a lot of the characters, and by this episode, there was, you mentioned a lot of different shit happening. I thought the shapeshifter stuff was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like made for some interesting stuff here, and then Butcher and Newman and all these different factors and the kid, and then, the plot line to kill the president. Like I thought, there was a lot of chaos happening, but I for the most part, am happy with what I got to see. I was entertained by the show. There were a lot of twists and turns. And again, I really like the characters. I do think, especially in the beginning, the show really leaned, and I guess even here, they're doing a whole like January 6th thing.
Yes. The assassination attempt on January 6th.
I think one of the issues is that, when I mentioned this when this show first started, but a lot of people, including myself at times, watch TV to kind of get away from all that shit. And The Boys in the past was a lot more clever with peppering that in, but not being so overt about the stuff. And this season, the guy was just, very clear about what his political leanings were and what he wanted to say. And that makes the show turn off a lot of people, and even turn off people like me that, want to kind of just escape. So that was not fun. But overall, I do like, I was entertained still, and I like a lot of the characters, and I like where it ends, where now you've kind of got this martial law thing, and all the boys are all broken up and
captured
and put in internment camps. So I'm curious to see where it goes. It ends in a space that isn't status quo. So overall, I did enjoy the show, but I don't think it's the strongest season that they put out.
I will agree with that. So you did find the first couple of seasons more escapist, essentially, because to be honest, Eric Kripke's feelings are well known from the beginning of the show. It's obvious.
But I'll tell you this.
Yeah, you answer that.
When The Boys came out, it was counterculture.
Right.
Meaning that
Right.
it was going against the grain.
Right.
It was going into like, we need bad guys to do the good things. And all of this stuff is going on is fucking fake. And we're pointing out all of this hypocrisy. Now the narrative and the general public is kind of all on the same page, and this show is on the same page as them. So they're not against the grain. They're just kind of like doing like you could put on it like a bunch of news stations or any late night talk show or any show that's on like a network TV, and they're parroting the same kind of. So it's not counterculture. It's not cool. It's not be doing anything except like, you know. So it's kind of like South Park does it better. It does it a little bit better than when you're just kind of singing the same tune that everybody else is singing.
But does the premise still hold up, right? In this age of Marvel superheroes, what if the soups were the asshole corporate shills bad guys? Is it still that show? But then it's been flipped, and then, people were confused who to root for the whole time. Some people.
Well, the concept alone is good, because you have these superheroes that are supposedly like these paragons that everybody looks up to, that they're saviors, and they all try to do the right thing. But then the reality is power corrupts,
right?
And power's going, and you don't have to go that much further than that.
That's the main theme. Yes,
that's the main theme.
Yeah.
But then now they're using all these talking points from like you watch The View and all that. They're just parroting the same stuff, like of these very like mediocre, blasé, safe shows. So they're doing these. Their narratives are very safe.
Look, I will say, despite all that, I like Anthony. Also, I really enjoyed the season. I enjoyed the new characters.
I enjoy, but I think that's what's bothering a lot of people, because you want it to be cooler than this.
It's still a solid show, all things considered. It's still one of the more interesting, one of the better shows that are out there. Okay, so we're going back to the shapeshifter. I want to kind of talk about the shapeshifter stuff, because
I think the shapeshifter stuff is awesome.
It was wild. It starts with, we know after the reveal at the end of the last episode, we know Starlight, Annie, is not the shapeshifter, and it starts with her messing with Huey and proposing to him, asking him to marry her. And in your head, you're like, oh, fuck, bro, this is so brutal. And then the scene, I got to give props to Erin Moriarty, the actress, when she is talking to herself. And her kind of playing bad Annie to the gut was fantastic. It was really well acted, well done, and you were like, "Fuck! How the fuck is she gonna fix this?" What else did you like about the shapeshifter there, Anthony?
I think, it's just, it's fucking creepy. The thought of like they can own all your thoughts. I just thought it was I thought it was just a very creepy vibe.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think it encompasses what made The Boys fun and cool and interesting is they take a superpower, but then they make it perverted.
Yeah, make it gross or disturbing.
Yeah, and really unpack, okay, what would this mean if this was a person with this power that was evil? I thought it was just a very and it's just an interesting way to build tension in a scene with, now they're protecting the president. They don't know. We know who the shapeshifter is. They don't know.
Yeah.
And then the kind of this cat and mouse game.
Well, I love the whole thing where she's like, I don't even know what I look like anymore. And she's telling stories of memories of people she shifted into that are just in her head. Like, it's crazy. So let's talk about, Huey does finally realize in the bunker that Annie is the shapeshifter, and a big fight breaks out. And by this point, the real Annie has really painfully pulled her hands out of these handcuffs, scraping her skin off. But it didn't look that bad when she showed up, and somehow conveniently just fucking shows up. She knew where the bunker was and exactly when to show up, I guess. But I did love that confrontation with the shapeshifter, and she chokes her out and kills her. Right now, when she talks to Huey, and she is when she finds out they fucked like 200 times, whatever, and he's like, I thought she was you, and Annie is mad at her. I'm like, how can you be mad at Huey? I know she comes to terms with it very quickly later, but initially when she's giving him shit, I'm like, give the dude some stuff. His dad just died. He was sexually assaulted, and he was having sex with someone else that he thought was you many times. What did you think? Were you like, why are you yelling at him?
Well, he did try and recover pretty well. He was talking himself up, and he's like, of course I knew that. Now that I think about it, I could tell that she wasn't here because of this, and that.
Because he knew little quirks about her. It showed her how much he pays attention
about the keys. Everybody knows about the keys.
Yeah.
I mean that that whole logically. This is gonna sound. This might piss people off. Logically, and as most men logically think, he did really nothing wrong.
No, he didn't know.
But women tend to be emotional.
And the minute he found out, he did something about it.
And, she obviously knows that he's fucked another girl. So, from a man's perspective, I would be like, I did nothing wrong. But you also have to apologize and say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, even though it would look like
there's no way to, there's
sorry.
not a good way to.
No, it's true.
He did the best thing he could, but there's not a good way.
The only way you could experience this is if you fuck someone's twin.
I guess
in real life.
by accident. By accident? No, in real life.
The girl tricks you into thinking.
Yeah, the girl, yes. Okay, that's what would happen.
What do you do? What do you say?
Know.
How do you know?
Okay, tricky situation when you get shapeshifters. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about Butcher? You want to talk about Newman? So many fucking things happen.
I just want to know, is that a stunt ass that we saw?
Who's this?
You have hers?
Yeah, Annie's.
Oh yeah, she was taking a call. The shifter was just
that's
showing
a
us
stunt.
everything.
You never see the.
You didn't see the front of her. I don't know.
No.
Good about her.
Just thought I'd ask. It's just they did it, so I want to know what the deal is behind it. That's all.
Okay, let's talk about.
Is that funny? You didn't wonder that to yourself?
Yeah. Well,
of
course.
Anyway,
let's talk about Butcher. It starts out, he's in the hospital, he's dying. He calls Huey, he says goodbye. He wants to see Brian. Ryan has kind of a confrontation. Well, Homelander finds the picture in his bag and just wrecks his apartment. And I love that moment where Homelander's like, come here now. Like his dog did something bad, pooped on the rug. And Ryan disobeys him. I was like, oh shit. He runs to where Homelander is. Grace Mallory is there. And this whole scene is heartbreaking. Because they need to tell him stuff. And Homelander's Butcher's slow playing it. He's like, I'm gonna play some Connect 4. Okay. But then fucking Grace fucks up and just spills the beans about Homelander to Ryan. He raped your mother. He killed those people on that plane. He is not, you can't go back to him. And we kind of want to make you a weapon to take him down. And reasonably, Ryan is pissed. That was a bad move. And he fucking kills Grace Mallory. This woman that she showed up and they hugged and she's like, I miss you, kiddo. It was like,
she should have just let him leave.
She should have just let him leave. Butcher's method was working.
Him knowing that would have eventually.
Yes, he would have came back.
Yeah.
He would have came back. But then Ryan fucking shoves her, snaps her neck, looks at her, doesn't seem to have remorse, and just fucking leaves. And at that point, what do you think? Is Butcher thinking, I have to kill Ryan now? Or is he thinking what he goes to do, which is I have to give in to the dark side and take out Victoria Newman?
Yeah, I mean, he's thinking at that point, the plan, like, there's no hope. Like, even, he's not even worth saving.
So fighting off Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is unnecessary. I should embrace this, which is what he does.
Right.
And then that shocking scene, again, another just heartbreaking. Newman goes to the boys going, look, I can't do this anymore. If you protect me and my daughter, I'll give you whatever you need. You just got to get us out of here. And then Butcher shows up and tentacles shoot out of his fucking chest.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
What happens to the daughter?
The daughter. Okay. First of all, he grabs her, rips her in half. The daughter is watching all this. She is there. But remember later, there's a shot. They are taking her to the Red River foster home where Victoria Newman grew up. It's that Soup foster home.
Yeah, but what happened to the daughter there, though?
Nothing. She just got like she was watching from the side, I guess. Dude,
she didn't do anything.
No, she was just there. Wouldn't you be shocked too if this dude showed up with tentacles and ripped your
initially, but then
well, they both have tentacles coming out of them.
I almost thought she was gonna like attack or something.
She's shocked. She's like, he got the same power except it's coming out of his chest.
That was fucked up because it fucks up a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I was legitimately surprised when Newman got fucked up.
That was wild. That was wild.
I did find I went, oh, I didn't see that coming at all.
No. So,
and Butcher really, and he fucks up all the, but it's also could be said that, you know, them trying to go about this in a, you know, in the, I guess, quote unquote, the right way by doing it, you know, through the government and through, you know, framing him, it was never going to work out anyway. And Baby Butcher realizes that.
He's just got to kill her. I mean, doesn't one of them say at one point, like, to fight monsters, we got to have more humanity or something? I think Huey says some bullshit. But then Butcher grabs the one dose of virus that they have. And I guess that's for Homelander. Yeah, so Butcher does kind of have Venom tentacles, like you were saying, Ruggs, last episode. He's like, it's Venom. It would look kind of like Venom. Let's discuss Sage. What a fucking great character Sage is. Smartest woman in the world. And I had a feeling this was all kind of part of her plan. What'd you guys think of that reveal where Homelander thinks everything's lost and she shows up?
I liked it because she's supposed to be the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
So I liked the reveal that, hey, she's almost kind of an impossible character to get around.
Yeah.
At some point, like, you got to wonder how the boys even get to her because she's so fucking smart.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that she would be like, yeah, I had a contingency for the contingency.
And it made sense that she's like, I couldn't tell you some stuff because you're going to mess it up.
Right.
And he would have messed it up. So, yeah, this contingent.
And she just wanted to do it. She just kind of did it for fun.
Yes, that was the best because he's like, why? I threw you away and I called you really bad things. Why did you do it? She's like, just to see if I could do it. Because she's probably bored being the smartest person in the world. But she does deliver. Her plan works. She didn't want Newman to be the president. So what happens is on the news, when they were in the bunker, somebody captured, I don't know who caught this video of Singer going, you should kill Newman when I told you to. And he is arrested because he ordered the murder of Newman that everybody knows. And with them out of the picture, the Speaker of the House becomes the president. He loves Homelander. And Sage planned all of this. Homelander, the new president, declares martial law, deputizes all the soups in the country. They all work under Homelander. He is essentially now the dictator of America. He's going to make his way to the White House. Sage delivered what she told him she was going to do. And she's along for the ride. It's fucking wild how all that worked out. I thought it was fucking brilliant, though. Very clever. The only thing I can't figure out is how she got that video. She had somebody there. I don't know. Who shot that video? So that craziness happens, and it leads to the end. The boys are trying to run away, and they think they've gotten away, but they're all caught in different ways. Huey is caught by that one girl, Cindy, from like the second season that was like walking on the road. Do you guys remember her, the bald, the kind of with the buzz cut?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he gets captured, and conveniently, Starlight's powers start working again, and she flies the fuck off. Probably smart. She's still
conveniently.
Conveniently, they can now work. She flies off. Mother's Milk caught by the big penis guy. What's his name? Love Sausage, I think is the character's name.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that guy with the penis? Frenchie and Kamiko, their whole fucking storyline this season was what was going on. What? I don't know.
Terrible.
What the point of
that
any
one
of
I
this
did
was.
not like. I didn't like. I like the girl's really hot, so I like her.
Oh yeah, Karen Fukuhara is stunning in this.
She's really good.
She spoke.
Yeah, yes, that's the only cool thing is now the Gen V kids come in, Kate and Sam. Kate touches Frenchie and tells him to walk that way. Sam is holding Kamiko, and she finally says no, like Caesar in Planet of the Apes. No. Yes, it's finally she's talking. She's not mute. And then in a post-credit scene, we see the new president show Homelander a cryogenic chamber that holds Soldier Boy, his father, and he's kind of tearing up.
Tell him.
Soldier Boy, tell him. And I don't know if that was to imply that like he wants a relationship with his father, or he's upset that he's still there because didn't he try to kill him? I forget. I'll tell you what I did love though, that whole final montage.
Oh, I forgot that Soldier Boy is the end.
Yeah, Soldier Boy in the cryogenic tube.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with that.
I don't know where they're going with that too. He's going to the White House. Soldier Boy's still there. Maybe he comes back. I love that they use Heart Shaped Box by Nirvana over this end montage. It's fucking great. They had me at. I was like, oh, you got me at Nirvana, fuckers.
No, it was good. I liked the last episode a lot. I was thoroughly entertained. How we got to this wasn't the smoothest ride, and I don't particularly care to watch, and he can do what he wants, right? So this creator, if he wants to put his political leanings, he has every right to do that, as the creator, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Sure.
And I just overall, that part of the show, I just really didn't like that. And I'd say that in the, as you guys talked about, the Frenchie storyline, I hated the fucking Frenchie storyline.
Yeah, that was kind of pointless. He goes to jail and then just leaves.
And he's fucking the dude that killed. Like, where did this even come from? What is it like? How does this even make any sense?
Oh, Ashley takes Compound V, and we don't know what's going to happen to her. That's going to be crazy.
Her brain was growing.
The wig flies
she's going to be the leader.
And her brain was bubbling. Is Butcher beyond redemption at this point? What are we feeling? He's embraced the dark side. And
he's going to be like the evil instrument that does ultimately some good.
I'm surprised he survived, but they do have one more season, so they should kill him next season.
Everybody should die next season.
Everybody probably should die next season.
Except for Huey.
The poster, there's a great poster for the next season where it's like Homelander on the lawn of the White House, and it's like it mimics a cover. Next season's not coming out until 2026, by the way. So we have a little bit of a wait. But overall, still fucking one of my favorite shows. Still, despite.
Yeah, I think it rounded into form by the end.
Yes, I think it started well, it ended well. The middle was kind of there were maybe some.
I actually think it started. I didn't like the way it started, but I think by the end, I was vibing with what was going on, and I'm curious to see where the characters go. I'm curious to see where if the Flash guy, what's his name?
Oh, A-Train. Oh,
yeah, what happens with him? I'm curious to see where Soldier Boy ends up in all of this.
No, he wasn't. A-Train wasn't in this episode at all, was he?
No, he wasn't.
So he already fucked off. He's trying to just hide. Can we talk about one scene from last episode? The Deep and his relationship with the Tilda Swinton octopus. I thought it was hilarious and tragic at the same time. When he finally, she's fucking with him. And she's like, you love Sage more than me.
Wasn't that a few episodes ago?
It was. We never talked about it, though. And he smashes the aquarium and then just has to listen to her die. It's brutal, but it's hilarious because she keeps starting to breathe. And then you think she's dead. And then you hear her again go, oh, no. They simultaneously made it slapstick and funny and so tragic and disturbing at the same time. I love when they can hit that tone like that. That's where the show is good. But the Deep, where did he end up? He was
he was killing people.
Yeah, now that he killed the octopus, he's like, I'm with you, my lord. He's just like, whatever you want.
And then he basically has the one guy tell him that he's awesome and then still kills him.
Oh yeah, that was great. They're going around killing everyone who has dirt on them, which I was like, whatever. I mean, there was that one episode that literally, like with Stan Edgar, I didn't understand. They had the sheep and they break him out of prison and there's no virus, and it was like some of the episodes were kind of spinning their wheels a little, but they get to the ending and a lot happens. So, any other thoughts?
No, I think it was a good watch for the most part. I just the show went from edgy to establishment in a lot of ways.
So, Ruggs, give me your score and rate it amongst the seasons, maybe.
I think this is not the best season out of all of them. It's probably the worst. But they're all very good. So it's like, I don't think it dropped down that much.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 1 full point from being like a usually a solid 8 to being like a 7 maybe. But yeah. So it's not bad at all.
All right. Anthony, where'd you put it?
Yeah, I completely agree with Ruggs. I don't have really much to add. I think I don't remember I think seasons 1 through 3 I enjoyed thoroughly. I think probably 1 and 2 are up there as my favorites.
Yeah.
And I think this one's the worst, but I think, I'm going to summarize what Rugg said. When you're starting at the level they were at,
yes.
it's not the Acolyte, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
probably.
No, I'm with you guys. I would give it a 7, and it is like it's my least favorite season, right? It definitely deserves to be at the bottom of the 4, but it is a show that started out really strong. It's still giving you crazy shit that you don't see anywhere else. Still manages to shock. And it's funny because I thought that Gen V season was really good, almost better than this season of The Boys.
I did. I liked the Gen V season more.
It was fantastic.
It was stronger.
Yeah, the way their powers were also disturbing and reflected like disorders, and there seemed to be stakes. So I thought the Gen V kids would have a little bit more in here, but they're in there a couple. It was fine. But yeah, I will give it a 7, and it is a show that I'm glad is ending with the next season. You could say it's getting slightly long in the tooth.
Yeah,
so.
they should cut it short because too long is bad.
So I think one more season to wrap this up, go out with a bang. Great. Okay. Finally, let's move on to our last review. And this is another show that's been going on for multiple seasons. I'm talking about Cobra Kai, season 6, part 1. Here's your spoiler alerts. We're going to do it like this.
Yes. I see that you know your judo well.
Spoiler alert.
There we go. Season 6, the final season that is being split up into 3 releases, 15 episodes total. We got the first.
Start with Ruggs on this one.
Okay, we got the first 5 episodes of season 6. Again, just like The Boys, another show that has started strong and tried to keep the magic going. Ruggs, I know it's just the first part. It's just the first 5 episodes, but has this show managed to keep the magic and the nostalgia and what made it good in season 6?
I think that it's starting to lean in a kind of not so great direction. It's got a lot of credit, just like the Boys. It's got a lot going for it already. So even if it falls down a point or two, it's still going to be up there. With that said, I don't really like some of the engineering that they did in this show. I don't like this whole direction with Mr. Miyagi's dark past.
That's an interesting twist on things. Explain that. What happens?
Yeah, so they find a box of Mr. Miyagi's of stuff.
It's not his weed.
It's not his weed. It's not his porn.
It's not his porn.
I was like, imagine they found his porn. Oh my God, he had been buried under that bed.
He's got like hentai anime in there or something.
Yeah, he's got some weird shit in there. But they found Mr. Miyagi's secret box, and they find out that he possibly had like another alias, and
a different name.
Was involved with a boxing club.
Yeah,
and that he beat up a guy
and robbery or assault,
and he assaulted and robbed something. So now this has rocked Daniel San to his core, and he doesn't know what to believe anymore. And the rest of the stuff is with some terrible writing going on. Like the fact that Kreese can just gallivant around the world.
How is Kreese?
He shows up there. I'm like, the show's over. Just get on the phone and call the cops.
Isn't he a wanted man? How is he flying between
the minute he shows up to
Korea,
the fucking
over there, everywhere.
He's in Barcelona. Barcelona's got extradition.
He's
We
in
can
Barcelona,
get him out of there.
he's in Korea, he's in the States. What the fuck?
With what money too?
Yeah, how is he?
He's globetrotting.
Remember, he faked his death and escaped from the fucking hospital or whatever.
So that is just ridiculous.
I mean,
right?
He has a full Star Wars moment in a cave, and I love that. Let me just say, look, I'm gonna just say, I don't know what it is about this show. I fucking loved it. This show could do no wrong. I love this world. I could follow these people for the rest of their lives. Keep making seasons. I don't care. It's a perfectly a balance of over dramatic melodrama and cheese and nostalgia, but the heart, I'm invested in the characters. For some reason, I want to come back. They're so charming. I loved all of this, all the ridiculous shit that was happening. I was like, this is fucking fantastic. Anthony, what are your thoughts of the 5 episodes?
I would say I'm a bit in the middle of you two. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a little more like Ruggs. I also really like the show. So I'm up there, in terms of enjoying the characters. I think what it has going for it is it knows its tone. It knows that you mentioned it's cheesy melodrama. It's very sitcom-y.
Yeah.
Like every episode is a new situation that they have to react to, and they all react and they all turn on a dime.
Yes. Everything is the biggest fucking deal also.
Everything's a huge deal. Yeah. Everyone flips off these different things and starts to hate each other or love each other. People's motivation. It sounds like I'm describing Star Wars Acolyte.
Right, doesn't it?
But at least this show kind of doesn't take itself too seriously. You have, as Ruggs said, Kreese jet setting around the world. And this is all, keep in mind, the premise is this is all based around karate in the valley.
Yes.
Like, this isn't a real thing.
Everybody.
This isn't. Right. It's a silly premise to begin with. So
but it's a fictional world where karate is the most important thing to everyone.
Right.
It's great.
So I think on that, I think overall, I think it's still good. I think for me, it was getting a little bit ridiculous in terms of how often the characters flip. 1 minute Sam and what's her name?
Sam and Tori had some issues, but they worked it out. Like girls do.
1 minute they're best friends. 1 minute they hate each
what do
other.
they fight somebody? They fight somebody at golf and stuff, and now they're the best friends.
They become best friends, and then by the end they hate each other, or she hates her. There's so many weird turns.
One conversation with Kreese, flips her completely.
No, it's not just that. Look,
her mom. Come on, wait. Remember. Her mom dies. I get that whole thing. The thing that I think for me I really enjoy about the show is that it really rests on the fact that Johnny Lawrence is just fucking hilarious.
It's great,
and I laughed so many times with some of his lines.
That's what Acolyte does not have.
Do you remember some of the lines? I was trying to remember.
I wrote them down.
Yeah,
so
give me his lines.
A couple Johnny Lawrence lines.
Yeah.
He when he invites the girls over for the slumber party, he goes, Miyagi-Do after dark.
He's like, let's not go with that. That's not a good
and then once they make up and chill, or once they're outside hugging each other, he goes to the Asian chick,
Devin. Yeah.
It's like I always say, girls are easy.
Girls are easy. Yeah, it's like girls. I hope I have a girl. Girls are easy.
I like when he tells LaRusso that his daughter's a pussy now.
By the way, your daughter's a pussy now. Well,
I got two more real quick. When he's in the car room, and he goes into Daniel's office, and he's like, I want a 15% bump and control of the showroom music. And he's like, you just started working here.
Yeah, he's like, that's what happened.
And then lastly, when they're in the car with the client driving fast, the client goes, I assume it's got Bluetooth. And he responds, this puppy's got all the teeth you'll ever need.
There's some great lines in there. When he's looking for homes with Chosen is also hilarious.
Oh my God.
He's like, oh, it's not just me. It's my girlfriend. I knocked her up and her mom. We're all just kind of living together.
Where is Chosen? He just disappeared.
He decided to fly to Okinawa and see if he can get back with.
Wait, when did that happen? That happened in this? Oh, I missed that.
Because there was a
because
part
he looked at his phone.
Well, there was a there's a part where they kind of hint at you only have one life and go for it,
right?
And then he looks at his phone and books a flight to Okinawa.
Oh shit! I thought it was hilarious how Daniel's wife is just annoyed with him staying there.
Oh, he's just been staying there.
And he's like, I've been watching Real Estate Bros. I can help you out. Property Brothers. Chosen is great. But yeah, you find out he had like 80 stitches from that slash last season in the back. And I did love Johnny and Chosen almost fighting over the name.
I enjoyed when they bring back Barnes.
Oh, this is fantastic. They get the Sakai Takai is announced. It's going to be in Barcelona, but only 6 people can go. Great conflict.
I wrote that down. Actually,
great.
I went, because at that point I was going, what's the conflict?
Because everybody's on the same side.
And I go, oh, that's interesting. Now you've made the reason why they're all going to fight each other again.
And I love how it starts with like everybody's on the same side finally, right? It's very inspirational. So now they're going to pick 6. How do you do it unbiasedly? You bring in Mike Barnes to decide the 6. And man, Devin fucking cheats. Johnny tells her, be cutthroat. Do what you got to do. And she cheats, slips laxatives to Kenny. He shits his pants in front of everyone. And then she even lets him think Lapusso did it. And she does not tell. I was like, damn, Devin, you
Lapusso's going to get it.
Lapusso. But I love like Kenny showing up at the end, finally listening to his older brother saying, you might want to give Keenan a shot. You don't want to be like me.
That's another thing though. That's like so ridiculous. They get into a fight at the batting cages.
Yes.
And then the big brother's like, he wants to fight all of them. And then later on in the episode, he goes,
you know what? They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad. Go listen to them.
You know what? I think maybe you should listen to them. And I thought that was hilarious.
I also, going back to Barnes real quick, I love the scene where Barnes and Johnny fight.
Yes, fantastic.
And then Barnes is basically going, it's like a drug addict that gets back on the horse.
He's like, I needed a fight, man. Thanks.
Well, no, it's not only that, it's the, man, you guys brought me back into this karate and all the demons are coming out again.
So funny. He's like, now you unleashed him.
It's like when someone's been sober and you give them one drink and then they get unleashed and have a crazy wild night where they do some stupid shit. That's what karate is for this guy.
It's so great. It's a drug. It's a drug.
Look, I like the best of the best.
He was showing him the best of the best.
Eric Roberts is in there.
He's like, hold on, watch. It's the best part.
Sakai Tekai is from the best from the best.
It is from the best of the best.
Is that a pull from Best of the Best?
Yeah.
That was the tournament in that movie, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I'm right when they called it Best of the Best. I mean, they're training a Korean team, which is the best of the best. They fight a team from Korea.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, by the way, that dude Kwan, love this guy. This guy's awesome. I can't wait to see more Kwan. He
reminds me of Chosen.
He's a bad boy, yeah, but he's talented and he beat everyone else up and ripped that patch off that dude. He's like,
the whole scene where they're training in the forest reminds me of Best of the Best when the Korean team is training.
Oh, that's right. That's right. How about Stingray? Speaking of the forest, how about Stingray? Paul Walter Hauser.
They didn't need him in there.
Stingray.
I feel like, no.
That was kind of weird. He's training little kids. Just, I don't know how he got these kids. The flyer he had with the picture of William Zabka, hilarious. Looks like a real picture with his shirt torn off. So the gender reveal was kind of funny with the Lethal Weapon lines where he's like, I'm getting too old.
Oh, yeah, he does say that.
He's like, it's like Lethal Weapon with the trigger.
The trigger, yeah, with the dude on the toilet.
Yes, that's fantastic. So, I love this whole Tori, her whole arc in this season. It's silly, but the biggest thing in the world, Sam and Tori, they make up. Then, they were like, they've lost their edge. They find their edge, whatever. But then they give Tori some actual fucking emotional baggage by killing her mom. And she comes back to fight in that fight. Love the fight between Robbie and Miguel for captain. That was fantastic. Sam and Tori fight.
Are these fights as good as your? I want to know what your rating is on Fantastic Fights because you just throw that word.
Acolyte?
Is it as good as the Acolyte's lightsaber
it's different.
fights?
It's like the frat party fight was fun. I thought that was.
I'm rooting for
I feel
Kyler.
like those fights are just okay. I don't think that they're great.
Kyler's great. He's like, I know karate, bitch. It's
the fact that this show got me to root for Kyler. I agree with you, Ruggs. By the way, the fights are just okay. It just. They're built around a silly thing, so you kind of go along with it.
The drama in the fight is fantastic.
I enjoy that I'm rooting for Kyler all of a sudden.
Kyler and Brooks, you just got Brooks. The whole MIT miss, and even like him applying to Stanford and Hawk not telling him is like the biggest fucking deal. It's so funny, like it's the biggest thing. Like, why can't Hawk apply to Stanford and other places? What's the problem? What is going on?
Yeah, there is no problem.
There is no problem. Anyways, Tori and
this whole thing with who's the captain? Who gives a shit?
Well,
you go in the tournament, you win it. It doesn't matter who
but
the
captain
is.
gets all the TV and
they put all this
stuff.
weight. So they put the weight of if they're captain, Miguel will get in. If Miguel is the captain, he can get into Stanford.
Yes, I need this. I need to get into Stanford.
That doesn't make sense.
And Robbie's like, I don't need this.
If I go to a karate tournament and I beat everyone and I'm not the captain, I still win.
You still win. Yeah.
I'm still the people that everyone's going to want. Like, who's going to want the captain that didn't win?
It's an arbitrary captain.
And then Robbie, if he's the captain, which he is, he gets to create a life for himself.
I don't need this also, Miguel. Come on. So, look, Danny's wife gets a call from the hospital, I guess, and they tell her Sam's mom died. It's kind of weird.
She's holding, not Sam, it's
Tori.
Tori's phone. She's holding Tori's phone.
Oh, she had Tori's phone.
Yeah.
No, but Tori already knew. Okay, so they just called.
But the hospital called, yeah.
Was looking for her. And she's like, we have to stop the fight. Now, I don't know. I forget who was winning the fight. It was even at the moment.
Yeah, no, Sam was winning.
Sam was winning, and Tori's about to go hard, and Danny steps in and stops her, and then you have the whole conversation. She's like, Johnny's like, let her fight. And they're like, no. And part of me was like, maybe you should just let her fight, work it out, let her get it out of her system.
Let's ask Ruggs. What's the right call on that?
Let her fight.
Really?
See?
Oh shit!
I disagree with
because
both.
she chose to fight. No one forced her.
She showed up. She knows her mom.
She could have been like my mom just died.
I'm not
I can't
doing
fight.
this.
Well, here's why I disagree, because when she gets the first point, she overdoes it. She knocks her down and then punches her
kicks her again.
time.
Yeah.
So she's not thinking rationally.
She would have hurt Sam probably. Yeah.
That's where I'm getting at. I think she was going to hurt her.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I guess in the end it was the right move. But so
I always side with Johnny.
They stop the fight. She leaves, and
That's the right move.
I love the reveal at the Sakai at the end. Everybody's lining up, and then the new Cobra Kai shows up, and then fucking Tori has joined the dark side.
I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
Fantastic, so great.
I don't want to go. I don't know if that's fit. I think that was a little.
I was like, she's turned to the dark side.
It's on brand for the show, but I rolled my eyes.
It is a little far-fetched if you think about it. Yeah. She wasn't and she was like, when Kreese talked to her, she's like, get away from me. She's like, leave me alone. But she has given into the anger. Strike him down with your anger. Your journey will be complete. Come on. It's so fucking Star Wars. It's ridiculous.
I wrote down, now that we're on the end of the episode, I wrote down all the threads that are open.
Yeah. What do we got?
Because, this is obviously the first of a 3-part. So right now we still have Miguel getting into Stanford. Hawk and Nerd and the
Dimitri,
MIT thing.
Yeah.
Tori quitting and now being in the Korean Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Can they win this tournament?
Yeah.
Kreese.
Yeah.
It being out of jail. LaRusso and Johnny, because it ends with them saying they'll do the tournament, but they'll never work together again.
That's great, because Johnny calls out Miyagi once he finds out, and then Danny
LaRusso
punches him, and then he's like, we're done after this. I was like,
you have the whole Kenny and Lapusso and the Asian girl thing.
Well, all the people back home, there's going to be shit going on with all of them. Yes.
Well, the Asian girl's going.
Oh, she's with them. Yes. And I think Hawk did deserve a spot in there, maybe over Devin. I don't know.
I love that I like that he's analyzing this
like it's a real tournament. Yeah,
I think it should have been Hawk over Dimitri.
Or Hawk over Dimitri. Yeah, but Hawk definitely should have been in the 6 to begin with. He's definitely there.
And then you have Mr.
I don't like
Miyagi's
Dimitri
origin.
as a character.
He's a little annoying.
Yeah,
I hate him.
He I mean, what he's saying is really selfish.
Dude, the Sam character is still so annoying, and I don't know why. The actress delivers. She delivers her lines through clenched teeth all the time.
Yeah, and she's not looking in shape. I think that, as I said this before, like Danny LaRusso doesn't look like he can do karate, and neither can his kid.
Dude, Tori would
I did notice that too. She's a 28. I think she's 28 years old.
Tori would kick the shit out of Sam. Come on.
I thought she was prego.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I did write down, it's good that this is the last season because some of these kids are super aged out. The Dominic kid, the nerd.
Yeah, he got big. Kenny got big.
But Kenny got big. But Kenny looks like he's gone through a growth.
You talking about Dimitri?
Dimitri, not
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Yeah.
Dimitri looks like he's like we got a receding hairline. Like he does not look anymore like a college.
You know what though? But if they continued this series with them growing up, I would absolutely watch it. Like just them
I know you would. You're over the moon for.
I love these characters. And I'm hoping the next 5 episodes are going to focus on the tournament probably, and then the final 5 is going to be like the resolution of all of it.
All out Kreese.
Do they do a thing where they bring in Jackie Chan? Does Hilary Swank? She's the only one who hasn't showed up. The fake name on the passport, the name on the passport is the name Miyagi uses in the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, which is interesting. Really? Yes, it's interesting. I don't know what that means.
What do you mean he uses that name?
Apparently he uses that Kisuke or Kimisuke.
Wow, you're real. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the show a lot, but you are over the moon. I mean, you are not only over the moon, you're over everything.
The thing is, I watch this. It makes me smile. It makes me feel good. I don't know.
It is an easy watch.
It is an easy watch. It's so bingeable. It has some magic. The same magic it's had this whole time. I don't know what it is about this show. Like it should, like we said,
like the rock music and the funny jokes
work,
and
but it
the
does.
Characters that you grew up with.
Yes,
and
I feel invested in these characters.
Why do we like this show? Because you could put on the table that it's equally as stupid writing at some points as the Acolyte.
Absolutely,
with the way the characters turn on a dime.
Yes,
but we like this and we don't like the Acolyte.
You expect that in this show. right?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Well, listen, I'm not saying I'm beyond putting it in the same category if it starts going off the rails.
Sure,
because they're already fucking with canon right now with
the
Mr.
Miyagi thing
Miyagi.
is big. That's
you
a
got
big change.
fucking gallivanting across the globe, crease with no, and you got people who just turn on a dime and like stories that are not stories, like disingenuous writing. But the thing about the Acolyte is why it goes so far, because they spent so much money on it, and it's got the money of Disney behind it, the brand. They're doing it knowing that fans are not going to like it. I think that the Cobra Kai show is made for fans to love it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just playing in a weird soap opera-esque, like Beverly Hills 90210, Saved by the Bell, like, and that rings true for the time where the Karate Kid was made.
Yeah.
Because it came out in that era where that was commonplace. So it feels more like, even though it's ridiculous, it feels like whatever it is it's supposed to be.
Cobra Kai writers know how to write an episodic TV show.
It's very sitcom-y.
But the structure is there. Like, that's what Acolyte doesn't have. It has unbalanced pacing. This one has good pacing.
Every episode ends with like a cliffhanger thing.
Yes, and there's like 3 acts, and that's what episodic writing is, and it keeps it moving, and it keeps it going.
I think it's just the fact that you're watching the show, you're not taking it seriously, you're having fun with it, and it's not demanding. It doesn't have, I don't know. I mean, I feel like all 3 Karate Kid movies are wildly different. And even when they made the next Karate Kid, I think the first one is and the first 2 are really, really well done. They're actually, I think that they rise above the typical movie. They're actually great. I think that they're great entertainment.
I agree.
So I don't think that these shows are repeating that, but like they're not in that same vein. But I do think that for anybody who loves those movies, they could easily watch the show and like it and be entertained by it. So I don't know. It is bad though. I think it is cheesy.
No,
it is
but
bad.
you're right, because you have to like that cheese. Because I know a lot of people that just refuse to. They'll watch one episode and they're like, "This is too corny. I can't watch this." And I get that. But if you know what you're walking into, it is just delicious. Do we want to rate this first part or no?
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna give it an 8. What do you guys give it?
Whoa, I thought you would have given it a 10.
Oh no, it's just the first. I got to see how it plays out. But it's a fucking solid setup.
Yeah, I didn't. I give you a hard time. I did enjoy the show. I laughed a lot. I also think it's incredibly stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Regs?
I'm dropping it to a 6.5.
Oh, that's all right.
It's still good. It's above a 5, which means it's watchable, and it's a 1.5 above it. So it's still swimming pretty good. It's keeping a pace, but I do see that the level of like a lot of this drama is not a real drama. I think before they had more of the stakes were better.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think that this is a lot of invented drama, like who's going to be the captain or who's going to school with who.
Well, that's the thing is where they are now, right? Like everybody's on the same team. You got to come up with some fucking conflict.
It seems to me on that point that the show it's good that this is the last season, because when it first started, I literally went, "What's the point? There's nothing they're even going for anymore."
Right.
I think the introduction of this like Sakai Takai thing is cool because it takes it out of the valley and it makes it seem like it's a real thing.
Oh, I can't wait for this fucking tournament.
And that's the only thing that this show has going for it right now, other than Johnny and Kreese being fucking diabolical.
You also you have to laugh though that the winners of the Valley Karate Tournament get to represent the All Valley, get to represent the USA,
the whole country in this international tournament. This is great.
International tournament.
Come on, Kreese snapped Johnny's neck in a hallucination and kills a cobra. Come on, come on, it's fucking crazy. And what's the deal with that old guy? Are they going to reveal Master Kim that maybe he knew Miyagi?
Yeah, they didn't even do a national championship. They should have opened with a national champion.
Yeah, they don't win the regionals or the nationals. Straight to the world.
They win the Valley.
Yeah, that's it. You're the best. You're best in the Valley.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That makes it even worse.
You're the best around. Nothing
like winning.
You really skipped it.
You win your neighborhood karate tournament.
Yes, and then you go to the world.
Don't shit on All Valley, man.
Going to the World Games. All right. Okay, that's fantastic. Can't wait. We got to wait till November for the next drop of 5 episodes. Let's do some quick news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It
boisterous
stinks.
fart.
Oh, it'll sound like it hurt. I have a comment from our YouTube channel about last week's movie review, Kill, the bloodiest Indian movie. At First Things 24 says AC class in Indian regular trains is locked off from other compartments for security reasons. He's got a lot of insights about trains in India. This is great. Regular train cops are slow, as the movie showcases. Biggest cultural reception difference is on the villains for the U.S. crowd. These goons are no stylized supervillains, ordinary rural folk. In India, these are petty criminals, often coming from big joint families. Main villain Fani, he never cried or mourned. That's a good point. We were talking about how everybody was crying.
Oh.
Fani never cried. In fact, he constantly taunted and fucked up our hero. Most others would be nobody in their neighborhood. They didn't kill him instantly because none of them expected to kill on the train except Fani. And later, they realized Tuleka's dad is a big shot mafia-like tycoon. So they expected to trade our hero during some sequences. Lastly, it is implied that our hero died witnessing the girlfriend spirit on the final platform. So he got that read too. I wasn't sure. But thanks for all the information. It's fantastic. I see they went very accurate.
I first off, I thank you for listening and commenting on our YouTube page. It never happens, and filling in some of the blanks that maybe we didn't see or talk about. So there you go.
Yeah, international movies. This is different ways to look at it. Regarding The Boys, Blake Braden comments on the finale. For as much flack as the first 3 episodes received on social media, I thought this season came together nicely. Didn't feel like we had a filler episode. I disagreed. There was one filler. Each episode did a nice job at progressing to the next moment and had some nice Gen V tie-ins in the finale. And then Jamie Robinson, who is Mr. Throwback Thursday on the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, said the supernatural fan in me loved hearing singers say idjit and balls. So Eric Kripke also did Supernatural. So I don't really understand this reference, but I'm sure other people who watch Supernatural will get it. I also heard that the shapeshifters on Supernatural are very similar to this shapeshifter where they peeled their skin. So. All right. That's it for this week, you bastards. Listen, very big thing next week. Anthony will be at San Diego Comic-Con. Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. We're going to review the movie. We're going to we better have some stories, Anthony. Want to hear all about it and all the announcements and reveals. Have a good trip, Anthony. How geeked are you? Geek boner.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. I'll definitely have some stuff to talk about on the next time we record.
A lot of fun stuff next week. Make sure you're subscribed so you get the show when it comes out. Rugboy, where can the listener find you?
At Rugboy Show on X. I'm just hanging out.
Just
reading stuff.
You can find Anthony at San Diego Comic-Con if you're out there. If you find him, say hello. You'll win a bonus point.
I'll retweet him.
Yes. Someone finds you in person and says, no, we've been fooled by that once. It was a cruel joke. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll beep you next time.
I fucking loved it.
Beep me.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Nerd.
I win the lottery. All right, I'm going to turn off this thing.
Sweat your butt. Get the sweat going. Come on.
Hey, we're down to I've got it back to a nice 78 degrees.
Your balls are too dry for this. We got to work on it. Okay, here we go.